Singapore 남자입니다. 안녕하세요 여러분들. Welcome to New Year's Eve 2022 or the final day of 2021. And here I am in a very cold winter morning here in Istanbul. Yes, today is cold again. Yes, it's normal again after like 3 days of 15 degrees Celsius mornings. Today is normal again. You have to wear padded clothing and it's actually slightly drizzling as well. Very cloudy weather. Well, the kind of weather that I like as a vampire, anyways. And yeah, here we are at the final day of 2021. What do you guys think? And yeah, my starting my second year here in Istanbul. Some changes are going on in my life right now because of like I can feel like 2022 is gonna be a huge year of change, and I can really feel the change coming because right now you can't tell because I don't kind of feel stressed over anything, but I'm facing some very difficult situations here in Istanbul. It's difficult enough that on the low end of it I may be forced to move my house to another area in Istanbul, and at the high end of it I may be forced to leave Istanbul. So right now I'm already feeling the winds of change coming, as we enter into 2022. A lot of the confluence of energy is coming together to create a lot of changes in the world, and I can first and foremost like immediately feel it in my life right now. So you can't tell, but actually I'm going through a very stressful time right now. But of course I don't feel stressed, yeah. But I can imagine anyone going through a time where they are not even sure if they have to move house or move country is actually extremely stressful. But anyways, we'll talk more about this as we go along. And yeah, hi Elma, welcome and happy New Year's Eve, whatever it means for you. I don't think New Year's Eve means a lot for my viewers, yeah. And I'm back again in Mura Cafe. Why? Because like really, the chocolate chip cookie here and the sandwich is unbeatable. After about visiting about 35 different cafes here in this area of Istanbul, I think the overall in terms of environment, food and value, this is the king. Then there's some other place where the food is better, but it's way more expensive. So in terms of value, it's not that high. But here is good price, good food, good environment, best overall. Mura Cafe. Let's show you. Mura Coffee and Bar. If you come to Istanbul, make sure you come visit Mura Coffee and Bar. And then mention that you're here for the Korean guy. Yeah, they all know me as the Korean guy. I don't know why. And you made it. This is the end of the year. This is New Year's Eve 2022. So hope 2022 is the best year yet. Well, thanks for the hope, but let's be very practical. Like I said, you guys know me to be a very pragmatic, very practical person. Like I said, 2022 is going to be the most challenging year most people would experience in their life. The winds and energies of change are confluencing very, very quickly, are coming together to a point very quickly. I see the change happening in my own life, in the stock market, in the world economies very quickly, especially around this period of December. All the changes, the forces of changes are confluencing at one time. And so let's stop wishing each other that 2022 is going to be the best year ever. Instead, I want to warn all my viewers to be ready for the most challenging year that you have ever faced. More challenging than the last 2 years, more challenging than this whole COVID season. Okay, next 2 years, 2022 is gone. Again, I've made this prediction multiple times over the past few live streams before. Okay, so therefore, once again today, I want to preach that let's stop wishing each other 2022 to be a good year. Let's stop wishing each other 2022 will be the best year ever. Stop well wishing like this. But I want to warn all of you to be prepared that 2022 might be one of the most challenging years in your life. Not just your life, but the whole world in terms of the world economy, the stock market, as well as the way life happens. Of course, everything is connected, from economy to politics, and everything is connected, and therefore connected to the individual lives. So this whole thing is going to affect everybody. In fact, right now I'm really feeling a lot of the effects. Like I said, I can feel the changes in 2022 like happening in my life already right now. Now I'm going through a very challenging period of my life actually right now. You can't tell because, like I said, I don't feel stressed over this kind of things. I don't feel stressed over anything, but this is the kind of thing that will drive a lot of people crazy. What? Right now I'm facing the kind of problem which my breakfast is here, my dear friend. Can you introduce yourself, please?
They share.
My dear Uzbek friend. Yeah. So now let me have a bit of coffee first before we continue. Yeah. Oh, my favorite turkey ham sandwich, and of course their famous sea salt chocolate chip cookie, the saltish chocolate chip cookie that I keep coming back for. Anyway, okay. Now, I'm in the kind of problem where on the low end of the problem, I may be forced to move house to another part of Istanbul. On the high end of the problem, I may be forced to leave Turkey for another country. So I may be homeless within the next 1 to 2 weeks. And homeless without any idea. Right now I have no idea if I can simply move to another part of Istanbul, or I have to leave Turkey. This is how bad my situation in life is. I am about to be homeless. Okay. See, that's why I say, my lifestyle. Everybody say, "Oh, I want to live your lifestyle. I want to live." My lifestyle is not easy, because once in a while you get into problems like this. Changes in policy that affects your visa and everything. Okay. Now, without going into details, I'm just citing this as an example that I can slowly feel the change, the winds of change going into 2022 right now. And like I said, all these things are connected with the economy and therefore the politics and therefore the individual lives. And therefore you can start feeling these changes around you even right now. So instead of, this is New Year Eve. Instead of wishing you the best year ever, I want to wish all of you to be prepared for the most challenging year, in one of the most challenging years in your life. In fact, I think and I feel very strongly, both in terms of my knowledge as an economist and as well as my feel as a spiritual person, feeling the energies in the world, I can feel that you need to be prepared for the kind of economy or the kind of situations that we went through in the year 2000 or the year 2008. That kind, okay? So, guys, that has been my doom and gloom prediction for all of you for 2022, and how I'm already facing the consequences of those doom and gloom, okay? And yep, let's take a look at some messages. Sherry, good morning, Limpeh. Oh, good afternoon, Sherry. Oh, you guys are early today. Wow, very good. Good morning, Kim Teo. Then how best to prepare for 2022? Oh, that's a very good question. I think you need to be mentally prepared first. Most people are caught in bad times because they are mentally unprepared. Okay, first of all, just be mentally prepared. Do not lie to yourself that 2022 is when this whole COVID mess will blow over, because they said that last year and it's still the same. But do not lie to yourself that next year is when everything will blow over, everything will go back to normal, the world economy will come back up. No. In fact, next year, in terms of an economist, I think next year is when reality really hits world economies and the stock market, which has been floated on the hope every year, hoping that next year is the end of the pandemic, and therefore investors keep holding up the stock market, and therefore no matter what happens in the real economy, the stock market is up. Yes, but this bubble of hope is going to break next year when they finally realize COVID is just not going to go away. And therefore, a lot of the real impact in the real economy and the global economy is going to start showing up in the stock market. And when stock market starts to get affected, everything does, from your company to Therefore, generally livelihood, why policies will change, fiscal policies will change, monetary policies will change, everything will change, and it will affect every area of the life. Just like back in 2008, back in 2000, yeah? So the best way to prepare is to be mentally prepared first. Do not go into 2022 with the false hope that 2022 is when my life will be better. Just don't think that way. Okay, B, good afternoon, B. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year. Like I say, I'm not here to spread Happy New Year joy. I'm here to warn you guys of a very challenging year ahead, okay? And please, man, I hope God that I'm wrong, but I'm rarely wrong when it comes to economic predictions. Elma, I definitely appreciate the warning. Good morning, Tressa from St. Martin's. Lolo from Singapore, good afternoon. Shish. B, I'm spending the last day of 2021 taking public bus with my kid for joyride, so won't stay long. Right, thanks for checking in even though you're busy, really. Mother of a few kids, very challenging lifestyle, but always finding time to come on. I really appreciate it, B. Good afternoon, May. And B, here's wishing everyone a good year ahead. Tokokyomi, big rain in Singapore. Oh, rain in... Today is quite a cold day here in Istanbul. At last it's cold again. At last it's normal winter again. Like over the past 3 days, it have been like 15, 16 degrees Celsius in the morning, right? Right now, at last, we have to wear padded clothing again because it's like 5, 6 degrees Celsius and drizzling. It's actually raining right now. But you can't tell, yeah? Very cloudy day here in Istanbul. And I spent the first 10 minutes of this live stream just telling you guys to be ready for a very challenging year ahead. Okay, so if you missed it, please rewatch the first 10 minutes. Tokokyomi, Ray Dalio says this too. I don't even know who or what Ray Dalio is anyways. Tokokyomi, the changing world order. Nicole is still America. Good evening, America. The eve of New Year Eve in America. Oh, Uta Home Loan, been a long time. 2022 is going to be horrendous. Yes, it's going to be. 2022 is very likely going to feel like a reiteration of 2008. Be very careful. Major global crash coming. Yep. Because like I explained just now, the entire hot air and false hope holding up the stock market is just this, that the pandemic will end this coming year. And they have been on this hope every single year for the past 2 years. And now we're coming to a realization, a conclusion at last. The same conclusion I came up with right from the very beginning. Nobody believed me. Again, I'm correct. I hate to be correct all the time. I'm always correct. Why? Because I'm practical. I don't see reality on hope. I see reality as it is. But seeing reality as it is a hard skill for most people. Most people see hope, not reality, And therefore, the whole stock market has been bolstered by hope. Investors not wanting to miss out on the post-pandemic rally, if it happens, and have been buying in every single time. And therefore, by next year, by 2022, they're going to finally come to the conclusion that this whole thing is going to stay, and that we have to change, not COVID. COVID will not change. We have to change the way things work. And therefore, boom, we're going to go into a phase of tremendous changes. Okay? And like I say, I can already feel the change in my life. Like I say, this whole thing is affecting my life right now. I'm actually going through a very, very stressful period of my life right now. You guys can't tell, huh? Because I will be homeless and without a country as early as next week. Okay? And I'm here doing live stream for you guys. So, you see, this is the kind of uncertainty. If you choose, everybody say, "Oh, I want to live like you. I want to live like you." You don't know the kind of stress of living this kind of lifestyle. That when policy changes, you can literally be forced to be. You can literally be evicted. You can literally be forced on very short notice to be without a country. Yeah. Mm. But I always say in life, stay in the existential reality of now. Solve one impossible thing at a time when it comes. Hmm. Right now, there's no problem. Like I said, I always live in the reality of now. All these problems in the future, even 1 hour in the future is in the future. Because right now, right here, life is good. Hi, Mert. Wow, long time no see, buddy. Nicole, everyone watch what you say. Everyone watch what you say. Your words are powerful. It's best to speak and type positive things so you can get those things. You see, you guys say I'm a very positive person, but in the end, I'm not. I'm never a really positive person. I'm a very realistic person. I am an extremely pragmatic person who even train my brain to reject everything that is just an idea, but to stay very strongly focused on the existential reality. Yeah, and that's where you get real positive energy, not hopes in your head, not lying to yourself, May 2022 be a challenging year. I mean, I bet some of you must be feeling the changes even right now. Not even, you don't have to wait till 2022. This thing is affecting some people already, isn't it? Don't some of you already see some changes in your life already? Yes or no? Like me, my first challenge to overcome in 2022, in fact from Monday onwards, is to try to resolve this issue of either becoming homeless or countryless, Nicole, pessimists call themselves realist. Change is good. No, there is a difference between being real and being pessimistic. Now, look at reality as three, as -1, 0, and +1. Okay? The real existential reality is 0. Pessimists will always see +1. Optimists will always see +1. Pessimists will always see -1. Realists see 0. The true 0, which is the true existential reality, is not something common people. It's not just an idea. It's an ability that you need to train for, and therefore 99.99% of people can never be truly a realist. Being a realist requires a certain level of attainment. In Chinese Buddhism, they call it 看山是山，再看山不是山，最后再看山是山。Meaning, you need to reach a point where, at first, you see this is a mountain, but it's not really a mountain. All you're seeing is an idea in your head. Then you realize that all you're seeing is an idea in your head. Then you begin to see that it's not the mountain at all. And from being able to see that, so it's never been the mountain I'm looking at. Then you slowly develop the ability to see the mountain as the mountain again, which is the existential real mountain. This is a very popular saying in Chinese Buddhism. B. On the other hand, don't have too high expectation of things. Then you'll be fine even if things are challenging. For me, I don't preach hope and expectations. I preach developing the ability to see existential reality as it is and accept the isness of the existential reality. If you're always using some kind of expectation to float or manage your perception and reality, in the end of the day, again, all you're doing is lying to yourself. All you're doing is using your brain mind game to play around with your own emotions. That will never get you to a point where you're developed enough to handle anything and everything in life and still be peaceful in the heart. Utah home loan. I'll see you tomorrow on New Year's Eve to go. Every day I go live. Every day. This is episode 76. Never miss a single day. 76 days. So it's not a question of whether if I go live. The question is if you are going to join me or not. Are you going to join me? If you are going to join me, I'm always going to be here. Oh, this place sells the best turkey ham sandwich. Laura Freud from Prague. Good morning, Prague. Nicole, I agree with that because the more you know, the more you realize you don't know exactly. And then the more you realize you don't know, the closer you are to developing the ability to see it as it is. That is the key. If you ask me, one of the major keys of any spiritual practices, one of the major keys of spiritual awakening and even enlightenment is just this, is to develop the ability to see things as it is, or in more scientific terms, is to be able to recognize existential reality rather than imagined reality, or in my system called story world and the real world, the ability to perceive the real world and not live in the story world. If you don't understand what I'm talking about in terms of story world and real world, go to my channel and just search for story world. I have an entire playlist where I talk about this thing, right? Elijah, 좋은 아침이에요. 네, 2021년도 마지막 날이에요. 새해 복 많이 받으세요. To all of you, 새해 복 많이 받으세요. This is what in Korea. This is the New Year greeting that we say in Korea. Okay, on New Year Day or New Year's Eve. 새해, which is New Year. 복 means good fortune. 많이 받으세요. Please have many. That means please have many good fortune in the New Year. 새해 복 많이 받으세요. That's how we greet Happy New Year in Korea. Utah home loan. I believe COVID. Okay, that's going into conspiracy theories. Really, that no, I don't go with that. Shishis, Limpeh, Namaskara. Oh my God, you know what? My results are out and I passed. Thank you for all your good. Oh, congratulations, Namaskara, and congratulations, Shishis, for your exams. Oh, many people on today, huh? No. This is a turkey ham sandwich. Cheese. Elijah, 새해 복 많이 받으세요. Nicole, so you don't believe that co-creating as we go? No, you are, but not by imagination. You are co-creating. You only achieve the ability of true co-creation by first attaining the most basic first step of spirituality, which is the ability to inhabit the existential reality. You will not consciously co-create in this world by imagination. The secret got it all wrong. This brain here is incapable of creation. You're creating illusions in your head. That's all you're doing. If you want to create existential reality, if you want to create things in the existential reality of the world, you need to first have the ability to be in the existential reality. And this is the ability that is lacking in 99.999999999% of the world today. Because it is not natural. We are born and conditioned to live in a story world, which is in the head. That is the problem. And yes, understand that we do and we are co-creating as we are going along every single step of the way. The difference is, are you co-creating consciously what you want, or are you just co-creating unconsciously all kinds of bullshit into your life? That is the difference. And where does this power come from? Co-creating unconsciously is being thrown around by the forces of karma, as I always explained for a long time. Co-creating consciously is breaking from karma and getting what exactly you want, and not be led into thinking about what you want. Sorry, I need to finish my breakfast. Okay. Mm. Mm. They're really huge. Elijah, 그 샌드위치 어때요? 맛있어요? 엄청 맛있어요. 엄청. 이 지효가 최고의 터키 샌드위치야. Sisters, what are you doing on New Year's Eve? Are you going to get drunk and have a blast? No. I never celebrate Christmas, New Year Eve all my life. New Year Eve is just another day for me. I've never done that kind of thing before. Even three years in New York, I've never once gone to the Times Square countdown. To me, the man-made calendar year just honestly don't really exist. But the world economy runs on that calendar, and therefore, every year, you can see changes in the economic system and the so-called life around you, which is not real life, but real life is just this existential reality. That is affected by the Gregorian calendar, but life itself is not. When it comes to life, I live in life and I use the calendar for practical reasons only. So, to me, honestly, today sitting here is the exact same day as yesterday, the day before, last month. Yeah, no difference. I don't do anything different. Nicole, yes, you create with words. In English, called spelling. Yes, you create with words exactly. But what kind of words and how? That's the key. Most people are using words unconsciously and compulsively. For most people, words actually, the more you talk, the more you build compulsive behaviors and enforce compulsive identity and ego, which means what? You are getting, every time you talk, you are building bad karma. Like I explained over the past few episodes what karma is and how it works, right? So in essence, karma is building subconscious, uncontrollable, compulsive behaviors that rules your everyday moment to moment life. As small as suddenly reaching for your phone for no reason and you didn't even intend to. Yeah? You feel that, right? These days people do that. You're sitting there. They never intended to check their message, but their hand goes to the phone and picks up the phone and starts checking the message. Totally like a zombie. This is what karma in essence is, the internal karma. And therefore, with wrong use of words, that's why all spiritual teachers will tell you, and a lot of spiritual teachings will teach you to keep quiet. And there is, even in most spiritual practices, a vow of silence that you need to take if you want to reach certain level of attainment. Why? Because words can, for most people who have not attained a certain level of awareness, words only build karma. Like I said, ever since I started doing this live stream, I've been talking this much, I feel a very, very strong calming energy around me all the time that I have to dispel every single day through my meditations. It's not easy, It's not easy to do this much talking and be free of the karmic bondage and entanglement. And therefore, for most people, you're creating with words, yes, but for most people, I'd say 99.99999% of the people, you're creating bondage and bad karma with words only. Most people would not and have not reached a state where they can use words to create exactly what they want. Yep. Most people don't know this. That's why I keep saying, I have a lot of knowledge. I keep saying that people are not ready for a lot of this knowledge. Even simple things like talking breeds negative karma. Already this becomes unacceptable and unimaginable. Talking does you a lot of harm. This is why in a lot of spiritual traditions, people take vows of silence. People just don't talk. You know? What about not saying anything that can be more, no, any form of saying? Because the fact that you can judge, the fact that your mind is judging between what is more harmful and what is not harmful, there is a duality going on. And whatever is duality is never true, which therefore, whatever you think is not more harmful, on the other side is actually more harmful. Basically, when you're on a duality mode, you will never hit the right spot. That means, if I say it's 6, you looking from the other side would see the same thing as 9. So, let me ask you, is that 6 or 9? 6 and 9 are both wrong. Therefore, what you think is good and what you think, if you think this is good and you think this is bad, both are wrong. It is just what it is. And most people need to be able to come to this state first before you are able to go any further with creating and all that stuff. Those are first and foremost in a spiritual practice and journey. First and foremost, first step to achieve is what I call true sight or true experience, meaning the ability to perceive true existential reality without duality bias. As long as you're still in the duality mode of judgment and duality mode of morality, you will never hit the point. Because 6 is wrong, 9 is wrong, both are wrong. There's no name for that thing at all. You know, this character is a very amazing character. You write this character, you look at it this way is 6, you look at it this way is 9. Now let me ask you, so is it 6 or 9? So it's neither 6 or 9. So what is it? That it is the thing that you need to discover in yourself and in life. Because every single thing is that character of 6 and 9 in the world. Everything. What you call good is just looking at it as a 6. What you call bad is just looking at it as a 9. But it's never 6 or 9. You fail to recognize that figure as it is. It's not 6, it's not 9. It's just what you call that. There's no name. There's no name. It's just what is. Well, I think people get bad karma by thinking bad things about themselves in their mind and thinking negative. Like I say, what you think is bad or good, it's exactly just a dualistic thinking as well. You are neither bad or good. Your thinking is neither bad or good. Which therefore, whatever you think of yourself as good or bad thoughts, they're all wrong. You are just you. Understand that you are I am. You're not I am a good person. You're not I am a bad person. Simply I am. Once you touch this dimension of being, you start to be able to perceive that same dimension of being in everything in life. And start to see the mountain as the mountain rather than what you think the mountain is. In fact, right now, you guys looking at this screen right now, listening to me, or you're not really looking at me. Neither are you listening to me. How to know? If you turn off this live stream right now, how many of you can tell me what clothes I was wearing, what color, how was my hair? Was it slightly below, slightly above the brow by how much? Was I holding my sandwich in my left hand or right hand? How many bites did I take? Nobody knows. Why? Because you weren't really looking at me. You weren't really watching. You're just looking at an impression in your mind. Okay, I'm watching this guy. And that's just in your mind. You're not really looking. And when you hear me talk, you're not really listening to what I'm saying. You're simply comparing what you hear to your beliefs and experiences. Oh, he said this, I agree. He said this, I don't agree. But what did I say? You don't really know. How many people can repeat what I say after this live stream? Very few. That's why I keep saying, in the end of the day, everything I say on this live stream is just trash. And that's why I keep saying, the whole point of this live stream is not the talking. It's not what I share. Nothing I share matters. Nothing I share transforms your life. All these are trash talk. And most of this trash talk, right, you can't even relate to. You won't even agree. You know? You'll never transform your life. Only a true spiritual practice will. So if I say, if all these things I'm talking about is nonsense, okay, so why do I still do it? I do it to give energy. You guys feel it, right? When you come to my live stream, you feel the energy. That's me consciously giving you energy, you know, so that you can take this good positive energy out in the world. Because when in the end of the day, what you call mood, what you call motivation, what you call love, is all a degree of energy. And therefore, by giving you more energy, I'm creating more happy people in the world. And therefore, you can influence other people to be happy. And one person at a time like this will make the world a better place. That's all it is, you know. Jared, talking is not helpful to anyone without response. When a person is depressed, it's not medical drugs they need, it's talking. Shish. Yes, I hate talking too. I prefer texting people in real life rather than talking on phone. I don't know. People can talk for hours and not get tired. Find it physically draining. Oh, shish. Texting counts as well. Texting, as long as you are in the process. By talking, we mean communication. By talking, we mean as long as you are expressing yourself, which is not really yourself. Every single word you're saying and reinforces the egoic mind and the egoic structure, and therefore that structure is the karmic structure, it is the karma structure. The more you communicate what you believe in, the more you strengthen those beliefs. And I'm telling you, all those beliefs are wrong, are fake. Not wrong or right, but fake. They are not reality. They are just there to help you feel more like you. And therefore, that's merely strengthening the ego structure. And therefore, when someone disagrees, when I'm saying this, why do some people, if I say one thing, they will come out and disagree? To me, when I hear something, I'm just hearing in real life. But here I will share, because this is the purpose of this chat. But in real life, when I talk, when someone tells me something, I'll just listen. I don't go through the filter of whether I agree or not. That's not the point, you know. And therefore, I do not communicate in a way that strengthens the false ego. Okay. Unfortunately, even if you're texting, that's all you're doing. You're strengthening your sense of identity, and therefore the sense and structure of ego. And this ego structure is exactly what is called the internal karma structure. Jared, Solus is mentally draining. Can't say I agree, because I have done months of Solus before. It's I bet very few people or none of you here on this live stream has ever done the kind of Solus that I've done. And so I'm just sharing from my personal experience that after 7 months of Solus, okay, away from human society altogether, I've said 7 months. When I come back to human society, I find that not just human society, just the air itself is mentally draining. Solus is the greatest power recharging you can have. When you can embrace and experience true solace, you literally plug your soul into an infinite battery that recharges you tremendously. For most people who say solace is mentally draining, I suspect it's because this one I mentioned like last month, they fall into the easily bored and easily lonely category. When you're easily bored and lonely, you drain yourself tremendously. It is a low-level form of depression. It drains your energy tremendously. Nico, but you said it was bad karma first. Does karma assign a value in exactly, there's no such thing as good or bad karma, like I said. But I'm using the term bad karma only as a way of expression. But ultimately, karma, there's no good, no bad. Karma is just a compulsive, uncontrollable action from the within that results in an effect into the world, which is external karma that goes round and comes round.
No, this is actually not even a mystical thing. This is scientific, you know. The modern science, psychology, and modern chaos theory, you know. But they just never consolidate all this together into one study. Yeah, like spiritual practices will for you. Yeah. So ultimately, there's no such thing as good and bad karma. You know, ultimately all karma is bad. Why? Because all karma is uncontrolled, unconscious, uncontrolled compulsive behaviors, and therefore, whether it's the behavior or the outcome is a good one or bad one, ultimately you're not in control. If you're not truly in control, it's all bad. That's why this is why in all spiritual practices, including Buddhism, including Christianity, we talk about first discarding all karma. Yeah, Buddhism is all about dissolving all your karma to reach the state of mukti, or complete enlightenment. That's when you're Buddha. Yeah, Buddha has tremendous amount of good karma, but even the good so-called good karma he threw away because it's all just karma. When you reach the point of understanding, there is no longer such thing as a good or bad karma. All is bad. All you have to give it all away. Okay, how does Christianity express this teaching? And Christianity express it as you need to die to yourself on a daily basis. You need to die to yourself daily and deny yourself daily. What does this thing in the Bible mean? It means what you think is yourself. First, you have to explain what is yourself. The yourself that you feel is ultimately your ego structure. And the ego structure is made out of what? Internal karma. And therefore, what the Bible really means is if you want to be free, you need to be free of your karma. Yeah. Good or bad. Ultimately, there's no such thing as good or bad karma. We use the term good or bad karma only based upon the moral judgment of the outcome that goes around and comes back around in the external karma structure. That's why this whole thing, karma is a very complete internal external structure based upon cause and effect in the world. You know, it's a science. It's not a mystical thing. It's not a philosophy. Okay, karma is not a philosophy. It is a daily reality. What do I say? Daily reality. Very simple example. I walk down the street. Someone knocked into me. Okay, now if you have a dense karma, or what Eckhart Tolle called a dense pain body, that your karma is very dense and very negative energy. The guy knocked into you. The moment you at that moment, did you plan to leave your home to fight someone? You never. But at the moment, boom, someone knocked into you, pull him back, and then you throw him a punch. Right? You see that in New York all the time. Okay, did he plan to go out of house to punch someone? No, he didn't. It just happened. These people always tell you it just happened. What does it just happen mean? It's a compulsive, uncontrollable internal behavior that expresses externally. And now, this internal karma, okay, finds external expression into the external karma with the punch to the guy's face. And therefore, it starts a karma chain of cause and effect reaction. That punch to his face, who knows, maybe that guy is your boss son, and therefore you get into a fight with your boss son. Next day you get sacked. The next day you get sacked, and then the next day something else happened because you get sacked. Then you become homeless or whatever. It starts an entire karma chain of cause and reaction. But if you do not have that dense karma, or ego, or whatever the name is, I'm very tired of all this naming. You know, I hate all these names because it is. I feel it, I know it, but there's so many names that so many people call it by that. I feel very tiring to choose the right name. You know, it's just that thing. So if that thing is very light, and I hold my karma very loose, the guy knocked into me, I keep walking. I don't care. For me, really, people knocked into me on the streets, I keep walking. I don't even care. I don't even let it bother me. To me, it's just, oh, someone knocked into me. Keep going. I acknowledge the fact of the reality, the existential reality. It is what it is. Boom. Okay. I keep going. No karma, no external karma is created, and therefore no chain reaction is being started. You see, so this is how karma works. And then the chain reaction come back to you. What happened? You call that retribution, or If you do good things, the chain comes back to you in good thing. You call it a good payback or payback, and therefore whether is it a retribution or a payback, it strengthens the internal structure. So if you get the retribution, you become more sour in your heart, and therefore it reinforces more of the original negative karma structure that led to the original action that started the chain, and therefore this chain builds itself. This is what they call samsara in Buddhism. And the good thing comes, the payback, oh, then in yourself is, oh, I did this thing, I got this good thing. And therefore you strengthen that thing in you, and therefore you become reliant on that thing. That thing rules your life. Good or bad, it rules your life. And that brings you away from the possibility of attaining a high level of spiritual awareness and enlightenment itself. See, so this the chain becomes a self-strengthening chain that keeps going round and round and round, and it repeats itself in cycles. This is in Buddhism what is called samsara. This is how samsara and karma rules your everyday life. It's not even a mystical belief anymore. It is a daily reality. It is a science. It is psychology and chaos theory together. I would say scientifically, to define karma or how karma structure works, the entire structure of karma, the engine of karma in the world, the engine of karma is the samsara world, okay, in Buddhism. This engine of karma is defined in science by psychology and chaos theory together. Psychology meaning the way psychologists are coming to a point of understanding how human beings are ruled by their subconscious mind, so-called subconscious mind. That subconscious warehouse of everything, that's your internal karma structure right there. So there's so many names to this thing that I really hate the name. You can call it the subconscious mind, you can call it the ego, you can call it karma, you can call it so many names, but it's just it, you know. And through this thing in you, it finds external expression that you cannot control, and psychologists call it depression, call it manic depression, all kinds of crazy. There are a million terms for this kind of disorders, or whatever disorder, or not even a disorder. It makes you do something on the outside, and now chaos theory take over. Because you did this, it creates a chain reaction in this world. Even sitting here, I'm creating chain reactions everywhere. People who watch me do this, people who pass by, by me existing on this seat right here, right now, I am having an effect on all these things in ways that human mind cannot perceive. And that is why in chaos theory they talk about a butterfly flapping its wing in Europe setting off a hurricane in America. It is not a fantasy. If you dig deep enough into what I call the neural network simulation, that is exactly what is happening. And therefore economists today are trying to tie down exactly how this huge mass of cause and effect is changing society as a whole using what is known as a neural network simulation. Many supercomputers connected to one, trying to simulate the effect of every single human and their thinking and when they see one thing. If 100 people see one thing, they need to simulate the effect of that one thing, what the different effect it has on all 100%, and what they will do going forward, setting off different things because of that, you know. Just by wearing certain t-shirt, you're setting off certain things in the world. Just by doing nothing, you sit here, I wear a t-shirt, doomsday is coming, it will change some people's life walking by, you just don't know. You just don't know that. Okay? Some people see this and they take it as a sign from God. You see? So do not underestimate the karma structure. The karma structure is prevalent, is scientific, it's not a belief. It is there. It is, in fact, if you ask me, karma is more real than God. God, you can say God is a belief, but karma is no longer just a belief. Karma is hard science. Science that nobody can dispute. Elijah, 잘 먹었습니다. Elijah, your words do matter. It may be a grain of sand to one person, but have an impact of a tsunami. Not just impact of tsunami on one person, but you have the impact of tsunami on everybody that guy touches from there on, which therefore goes by extension that everything you say to one person affects the whole world. And therefore you are part and accomplice of every crime in the world today. I'm sorry, this is how closely connected all humanity and our actions and thoughts are. You think someone is doing a bad thing, it's got nothing to do with you? Think again. If I want to map out all these things back to you, I can somehow. If I want to map out a murder in the other side of the world, all the way to the day I'm born, I bet I can find a connection in somewhere. Indirect that comes all the way to me. That's why there is people that when internet first started, there was a very popular saying that everyone in the world is only 2 connections away from Bill Gates or Jackie Chan. That was a popular saying in the early days of the internet to show how closely related all human beings are, even though you think they are vastly unrelated, you know. This is even more true right now in the internet era, because you may think let's say you made a comment on one post and you totally forget that comment. Let's say you totally forget, you don't even remember you ever made that comment, but someone else reads that comment, maybe 10,000 people reads that comment. Out of the 10,000 people, some takes that comment very seriously and it changes their life. You will never know. You will never know. Oh, good afternoon, GQC. Pong mani 받으세요. Here, wow. Oh, 미소카 desu. Goodbye, 2021. 새해 복 많이 받으세요, GQC. Nicole, how do you learn if you don't dialogue? This is how I learn. I'm highly curious, so you're very different, and that's why I'm asking. I'm not arguing, I'm asking. I know. This is the same way I keep telling people that I learn without reading. Remember? Everything that you need to know is in here. You never have to ask anyone. In fact, the more you ask people, the more fake ideas and the further you go from reality. You don't learn anything from dialogue. I'm sorry. Dialogue between 2 person, if you closely observe the dialogue of 2 person, they are both just defending their egos. There's no real learning going on. Right? So, the only in here you carry the wisdom, the knowledge of 1,000,000 generations. You just need to be able to tap it. Everything I say to you guys today, everything about karma, everything about energy, and I read none of this from a book. I knew none of this from talking to anyone. I got all this from being in touch with that dimension and seeing it in myself. So this is how it works, and therefore I know. Apart from very academic stuff that you like, research papers that you have to read to know certain things that's going on, most human knowledge you can get within yourself with a deep enough spiritual practice. And if you ask me so exactly what spiritual practice, okay, you won't believe it. Again, some of the things that I say, people are just not ready for it, but this is my reality. Most of the things I tell you guys, I get from just meditation. Everything I said about karma just now, that whole structure of karma, I got from just sitting down, meditating, and it comes to me. Yeah. Hunter Witch. See, the thing is, Nicole, if I'm worried about people arguing with me, and that I'm offended with argument, I have to defend myself. Then you see that I'm exactly doing what I say not to do, which is what? Defending my ego. That's why I don't do it. I see whatever it is, I try to answer everybody same fair note. If I see someone on a kind of idea which experientially I know to be very wrong, I try to correct it, that's all. And if you take it or not, honestly, it doesn't affect anything about me. I'm just about everything, you know. I don't allow ego to play a part. I don't allow ego to become a thing. Hunter Witch. My family is gonna eat ozoni. 잘 드세요. 많이 드세요. 맛있게 드세요. 맛있게 많이 드세요. Kim Teo. That approach of not reacting to whatever happens, some people take advantage of that and abuse you. Well, so far I've been living to that. I don't see that take advantage and abuse that people talk about. You have to give me specific example what you mean so that I can address it, because that has not been my experience. Maybe it's just a false belief. Has it happened to you? Adam Smith, welcome back, my young friend. What is chaos theory? Search on the Google. Yeah. Fang, wow, so true. Oh, haven't seen you for a long while, Fang. What is so true? Adam, if karma is real, then why do bad people happen to good people? Bad things? Exactly, Adam. Like, did you hear the entire thing, or do you just catch the back part of the thing? Adam, because I give about 15 minutes explanation of the entire structure of karma. Okay, so you have to watch the whole thing. I'm not about to repeat the whole thing. If you have watched the whole thing, you know, first of all, there is no such thing as good or bad thing. No such thing as good or bad karma. No such thing as good or bad person. Okay, whatever action creates a reaction. That is all there is. It is always neutral. Human being has only come to the level of understanding that nature is neutral. Yes, everybody talk about it. Nature is neutral. Karma is part of nature. Karma is part of the natural system of the world. Karma is completely neutral. In the karmic structure, there's no such thing as a good person or a bad person. There's no such thing as a good thing or bad thing. It's just a thing. Good or bad is your own moral interpretation, which sadly, you think is bad, someone may think it's good. You think it's a good person, someone may think can come up with enough reason to say it's a bad person. You say, why do bad things happen to a good person? Well, enough other people can tell you he's not really a good person. I'm telling you that. Feng, do you believe in the law of attraction? Oh, Feng, I covered that earlier in this live stream. Please rewatch this live stream. Okay, I covered in depth about what attraction and co-creation is. Nicole, after hearing chaos theory, it sounds like there is just cause and effect. Karma is cause and effect. Yes, that's why the Chinese term, the Chinese Buddhism term for karma is called 因果. In Korean, it's called 因果, which means cause and effect. There is only cause and effect. That's why it's neutral. That's why I keep saying, fuck the terms, fuck the labels, fuck these words. I really hate these words. I hate the word cause and effect. I hate the word karma. I hate the word ego. I hate the word subconscious. They're all the same thing, but people confuse themselves on these terms again and again. If you just learn to discard all these terms and see it as it is, it's just one and the same thing. And then you don't go struggling with, oh, then isn't it cause and effect and not karma? Oh, then isn't it subconscious mind and not cause and effect? You know, they're all the same thing. Once you understand and touch that dimension, you will understand and see that they are all the same thing. It's like saying this, no? It's like saying, oh, this is a car. Then someone says, no, this is a Ferrari, it's not a car. How is a Ferrari not a car? Labels. Labels and names and labels and names. That's why to achieve real, true sight, true spiritual sight, and true liberation, the first thing you must discard in your life is name and labels. In my life, who can tell me what's my name? Who can tell me what's my name? Nobody. Nobody knows my name. Who can tell me exactly what ethnicity, what culture, what nationality, all these things, or what I'm about, what nothing, nobody. I discarded and what my family is, who my family. No, nobody can tell any of this. I cut every and any labels in my life. That is the first stage of liberation. That's why all of you keep saying, wow, I want your story world, you live such a free life. That freedom started from breaking all these bonds. That's why I keep saying, no matter how much money you have, you're not gonna experience my life. This is what I mean. This is not about money. In fact, the more money you have, the more bondage you build in your life. The harder it becomes for you to leave behind everything and become like me. Hey, strangely, a lot of people want to be like me, I don't know why. Not easy life even. Like I share, 2022 is going to be a huge year of change. In fact, the forces of change, I can really feel the energies of change coming together at this point and already affecting my life. Like I said, right here, right now, I look like free and happy, right? But do you know that by Monday, I could be evicted from my home if it's not that bad, I could be evicted from my home. If it's really bad, I could be evicted from Turkey. Okay. Big changes has happened in the policies here that is affecting me directly. And I'm about to be both homeless and countryless. And do you see it make me any more stressed out or anything? No. Because that to me is always the story. I always live in the here and now. Here and now life is good. I'm looking at my phone. I have a nice coffee. I have my favorite cookie. Here and now life is good, and that's all life is. Hunter Witch. I told you that you can call me Witch. Now I know your real name. It becomes very hard for me to call you by something else. Do you reply on the information of GDP? What do you mean? By the way, there was a silly people who don't know the meaning of GDP. Do you reply on the... What do you mean? I don't understand your question. By the way, there was a silly person who don't know the meaning of GDP. Oh, if you don't know, it's not being silly. If you don't know what GDP, it's just a matter of not having the information. Why is that being silly? Again, label. People who not know something, it's a simple matter of taking 5 seconds to Google for it and you get the information. Anyone can have information. Information is cheap. Information don't make you sillier or more clever than anyone because it's a fair playing ground. Anyone can spend 5 seconds to get whatever information they want. Elijah, karma is neutral, neither good or bad. Yep. Alma, nowadays people just want to argue, even when they are you know why? No, it's too many humans are seriously messed up. No, not nowadays. Humans have always been like this because people not because they want to argue with you. Because all conversations ultimately is a strengthening of their own egoic structure. Even everybody here, I'm sorry, I'm saying all of you here are the same. When you talk to someone and they disagree with you or say what you say is rubbish, don't you feel hurt? You feel hurt, why? You're just saying something and someone say some words that reach your ear. Why does it make you feel different? It makes you feel different because at that moment you are putting ego at stake. You're putting ego up front and either strengthening it or trying to strengthen it or defend it, and when it's under attack you don't feel good. This is the state all human beings are before they start a serious spiritual practice. This is just how it is for all human beings. So do not be bitter against human beings who behave that way. Human beings must behave that way. If you can break out that chain without any form of teaching or spiritual practice, then it's too cheap, it's too easy. It's too easy. Everybody will be Buddha. It's just not so easy. Everyone have to go through the process. And therefore, just expect and know that human beings are like that because of the level of attainment they are at that point of time. Just know that there's no being bitter or disgruntled about human beings because of that. Because I fully understand, just like you understand that a kid, do you blame your kid for breaking a cup? No, because it's just a kid. You understand that they have not developed the common sense or the motor skills, right? Because you understand they are just a kid. And to me, that's how I see everybody. They are just spiritual kids. It's normal they do that. It's normal they argue to defend themselves, to feel insecure, to hurt other people. It's just all be a manifestation of being a kid. Olivia's Retro, welcome. Happy New Year's Eve. Retro? Retro is not New Year's Eve yet. It's the eve of New Year Eve. Yeah? Him too. there are a lot of people that resist the spiritual path because it seems like a backwards journey. How can us be spiritual without going backwards? First of all, you have to define what does going backwards mean. I don't understand. What is going backwards? I honestly don't understand. Backwards in what? Go back in time, or I don't know. Well, going back in time is good. You become younger. I don't understand what you mean by going backwards. Can you explain? Kong, the truth is beautiful. The truth sets you free. That's what the Bible says. The truth sets you free. See, the thing about the Bible is it is a spiritual teaching, but today they turn it into a religion. Such so sad. And they turn into a religion of God worship rather than a spiritual teaching of self-transformation. And the truth will set you free. This is exactly what it is. Shish. What you said about karma is pretty close to what I've learned and what our yogis talk about. Exactly, because it's the same thing. If you're enough spiritual, all spiritual teachers, yogi or Hindu or Buddhist, they must say the same thing. Because when you look at an apple, no matter if you're a Buddhist, no matter if you're yogi, you must say it's an apple. If you see it as an apple, you must say it's an apple. This is exactly what it is. The moment you see your spiritual or energetic structure, you see this thing very clearly, and it can only be that. So anybody from any culture, from any religion must say the same thing ultimately, if they are truly spiritual. Because spirituality is the same apple. You look at the apple, it can only be apple. You're doing so great, Limpeh. I don't know when, but someday in my life, I'll definitely try to achieve that level. Yeah, go. Just keep meditating every day. So simple. Olivia Spectrum. If karma is cause and effect, is karma just what we are creating every moment by our thoughts, feeling, and deed? Exactly. Karma is exactly 100% in your control. Or karma is exactly 100% your own controllable, but most people lose control. Okay, 99.99999% of people lose control over those things, so they have no control. But karma is 100% in your own control. You can build whatever karma you want consciously, or you can distance and shake your karma off and become Buddha if you want to. But you must first reach that level of conscious attainment, which is basically a level of not ruled by compulsive behaviors and thinkings and conditionings. Retro Yaku. Yeah, I got to turn blue one day, if I'm Cookie Monster. Oh, blue means I'm Shiva. Oh. Sherry. Oh, that's not good. What's not good? Yeah, Nicole. That is what I'm saying, and why I say we should watch out words of speaking negative things. Oh, Nicole, please don't get me wrong that I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying that it's okay to speak negative things. Okay? I'm not saying you're wrong by saying that we should not say negative things, that we should watch our words. I'm not saying you're not wrong. I'm trying to expand on your understanding by saying that ultimately, right or wrong. Okay, or maybe that's what I keep saying. No, please do not blame me if I keep saying certain things humans are just not ready to know, and I keep those information, because even simple things like karma, people cannot understand. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep it simple for you. Okay, on a very elementary school level, yes, you're right. Just don't say negative things. Okay, start from there, and you'll be fine. Okay, start from there. That's why I keep saying, hey, you guys keep telling me we are ready to know what you know. No, you're not ready. Understand that you are not ready to know the real things. Those things I keep saying that human beings are not ready to know. Understand that this is one example right here. How not ready people are to digest and understand this information. Just simple. Karma is the simplest thing in a spiritual journey, because karma is actually a physical science, which is one of the most elementary level thing that you experience in a spiritual journey. which can be defined scientifically. So you don't even need a spiritual journey to understand karma, you know. So if even this is hard to understand in these details, then those things I say that human beings are not ready for, please understand that those are a million times more abstract than what I just said about karma. Sherry, oh, sorry I had to start the chat over. Kim Teo, your housing issue can always move to, no, it's not that simple. It's becoming more and more complex. In fact, I may be forced to leave Turkey because of this. And it all will happen next week. Next week I'll be homeless, you know. Honestly, I don't know where to go. If I have to leave Turkey next week, I don't know where to go. But yeah, actually, I do know where to go. I just go home to New York, that's all. Nicole, the cause is the negative intent. Oh no. See, Nicole, you're still going around and around the labels. Nicole, you will never get you will never understand what I was saying if you keep using labels. If you keep using labels like positive, negative, good and bad, you will never understand. And understand that those things that I say mankind are not ready for are I would say a million times at least, more abstract than this. And so therefore, for your level, I would say this. The whole thing is for a very base level, which is the base level most Buddhist people start at. It's just this, try to do more good, say more good, that's all. Yeah, that's the base level anyone can start. And when you get, like someone said, when you get there, when you get to the first peak, then you will see the next peak. Now I'm telling you at least 6 peaks away. You just cannot understand, or you just cannot fathom what is like 6 peaks away when you can't even see the first peak here. So yeah, the first peak is just this. Do good and say good things in your life. That's all. DCM, hi. Hi DCM. DCM, DCM, do you see now why I say mankind are not ready for a lot of things I say? Even simple things like this, people cannot understand anymore. How I say those things, people are not ready to how I say those things which I said, mankind is not ready to know. Just impossible. Shish. You're listening to Limpeh. Remember, no matter who and what age you are, you're spiritual kids. Finally, we can be kids again. Yep. And that is why in the Bible, again, the Bible is a spiritual teaching, not a religious thinking. You know, the Bible said, the kingdom of heaven belongs to children. What does this mean? If you look at the Aramaic translation of kingdom of heaven, it means the divine light within. And therefore, it's saying that the divine light within belongs to children, meaning that if you can become a children, you will touch the divine light within. That's what it means. You see, the Bible is a spiritual teaching text made into a religion of worship of God. Such a waste of such a powerful spiritual text, you know. Okay. Spirit Hunter Witch, what do you mean? What do you think about the ADHD? I don't really know. I have no contact and experience with anyone with ADHD and dyslexia and stuff like that. I don't know anyone who has ADHD. I don't have ADHD. I have no experience. I don't know any friends who have them. So as a very old generation guy, to me this is a very new age term that seems to have popped up over only the past 10-20 years. So I really don't know what it's about. H Links, hi! Wow, H Links, welcome! Happy New Year! Say hey, book money 받으세요. Haven't seen you in a long time. H Links from Singapore. Just curious, do you believe in the end of the world? Okay, the end of the world is not a belief. The end of the world is real. But know this: first, to understand the end of the world, you have to understand what does world mean. For people, most people say the term world without ever understanding what it means. Just like people say the term God without understanding what it means. People say the term spirit and soul without understanding what it means. Hell, people even say love without understanding what it means. Now, to understand end of the world, you have to understand what world means in the first place. Okay? I don't know if I have time or energy to go into this. This is another deep discussion here, the end of the world discussion. Why don't we do this tomorrow? Because this is a big one, right? And it's already 1 hour 15 into this live chat, you know. Because I have to teach you guys what world means in the first place. And that's a big one already. So just understand this. End of the world is not a belief. End of the world is a scientifically definable point in time. But the whole trick is, what do you mean by world? What ends? When you talk about what end of the world, exactly what ends? That is the whole key. Okay? Too tired to go into that one, so I'm gonna leave that for now. Maybe we can talk about end of the world tomorrow. Okay? So if you guys want to know about what end of the world is and what it's all about, join me tomorrow and remind me tomorrow of this topic. Join me early. Let's do that early, because when you do that, when I'm already 1 hour 15 into the chat, you know, we already covered very big topics. I really don't want to start another big topic. Yeah. To realize that your close friend was toxic for years is a sad thing. She did something mean. Then, you know, I don't know why most people disagree with me, but when a person is toxic, I immediately cut and go. I don't care about how many years. I don't care if they are blood relatives. I just cut. But of course, again, connecting back to what I said earlier, you can reach a point where nobody is toxic anymore. Okay? But it's a very deep level of attainment to be at a point where toxic people, you don't perceive toxic people as toxic anymore. It's a point that I'm not at yet as well. It's a point of full total equanimity, which makes it very difficult to survive in the real economic world. Olivia's retro. We need to understand the spiritual basics. What I'm telling you guys are not the basics anymore. I'm going quite deep. For you guys who have not even started a spiritual journey. So you don't really have the basics. But I hope it sparks you enough curiosity to start an actual spiritual journey. We need to understand the spiritual basics so you can understand universal law. Yep. Then you can start to handle more information. Yep. Retro is always about the journey. It's always about the moment. Because honestly, there's nothing but the moment. Is there anything more than this moment right here, right now, sitting here, looking at this building, this tree, this phone, this coffee, this cookie? No, nothing more. Everything else more is in the story world. That's why I keep promoting my story world versus real world model. That is the key. If you guys want to start a spiritual journey, start from here. Start from my real world story world playlist. That is the easiest way to start a spiritual journey. From that basic. In fact, if you want a real, like Olivia's retro says, if you want to learn the spiritual basics, start from my real world story world, real world playlist. Start from that practice. That is the safest and easiest set of beliefs and practice that will start you in the first core attainment of spirituality, which is separation from illusion into reality, which is what I call separation from the story world into the real world. Like right now, my story world sucks big time. I'm about to be homeless and countryless, but that's all in the story. That's all in a imagined future of next week. Right? This is right here, right now. This is right here, right now, where life is. And where's my problems? Here? No problem. What's the problem? I don't care. No problem. The cookie is so good. Sea salt cookie. Sea salt chocolate chip cookie. Ooh. Saltish chocolate chip cookie. And the sea salt tastes so nice, you know. It's not like table salt where it bites your tongue, but the sea salt melts on your tongue. Explosion of taste and emotions in your mouth. Oh, okay. This is beginning to sound very wrong. Get it? Fong, stop saying negative things first. Start. I like that. Yeah, for a start from there. Olivia's retro funny. I've been remembering the wonder of being a child. Honestly, if you look at me, I'm still just a 12-year-old. I'm not grown one damn bit. I still do martial arts and video games as my core hobby. I'm not grown one day be past that. Hunter Witch, I see what? Olivia's retro. I cut toxic people too. Yeah. I cut toxic countries. There are countries I immediately cut, leave and never return. Yeah. Adam Smith, I want to be enlightened one day. Well, Adam Smith, if you want to be enlightened one day, work hard in your life right now. You're 22 years old, about to start your college life. Work hard, become the best, top in your college, become famous, become rich, become powerful. That's how you start a spiritual journey. You say, what? Isn't all these things anti-spiritual? Don't ask me why. Adam Smith, if you really want to be enlightened, do this. Work hard right now. You're going to college. Make sure you gain your first degree honors. Make sure you get the best job. Set up your own company, whatever. Make sure you become as famous, as rich, as powerful as you can ever be. Do that for 10 years and then come back to me after 10 years. And then you will know why. You will be able to tell me why I said this is the start of a spiritual journey. I'll see you when you're 32. You know, right now at 22 years old, Adam, 10 years seems and sounds like a long time because 10 years is like half your life right now, yeah? But honestly, 10 years is just like this. To me, my perception of time, 10 years to me feels like 1 year to most people. To me, 10 years is extremely fast, and to me, 10 years is not daunting at all. I can easily make 10-year plan and go for it. To me, it's not a very long-term time to do anything. It's very short, very short. Nicole, well, this is not very educational. I'm not used to this level of ego. Oh, well, this was very educational. I'm not used to this level of ego. Oh, if you spell ego with the capital EGO, it means a different thing. Do you know that? Nicole, if you spell ego as EGO in caps, okay, it's actually a game thing. Google for Library of Ruina EGO, then you know what EGO is. Oh, Marvel Tan, welcome back. Marvel Tan from Singapore, if I'm not wrong. Love your perspectives on life, Limpeh. Just curious, did you go somewhere to learn about? Yes, I go to a lot of, everywhere I go, I learn about spirituality. Starting from 17 years old, I'm 46, coming 46, yeah. 17 years old, I went to a Chinese monastery and became a monk for 7 months at 17 years old. After that, I went to, I finished my education, spent 7 years in the Navy, and then went to China for 10 years where I seek out Taoist, Qigong, and all these practices. After, I went to Japan to learn Zen, to be a samurai basically. I adopted everything about being a samurai, including Zen practices and meditations and spiritual teachings. And I keep going deeper. Oh, and of course, India, back in Kerala, help some of the yogis. I've always been on this spiritual seek and journey since way before 17 years old. Since maybe about 12, 13-year-old, I start to wonder. I start to see things very differently. I start to experience certain things very young. I start to experience certain things which you usually experience when you're about an initiate into a certain spiritual practice. I experienced those right off the bat. And those got me curious about what these are, and therefore I start to seek and I never stop. Yeah, that's my, roughly in a nutshell, what my spiritual journey has been like, but it's way more complex than that, by the way. Adam Smith. In fact, I keep saying that my top two hobbies are martial art and video game, right? Even martial arts is a spiritual journey. All traditional martial arts are a spiritual journey. All traditional martial arts has a qigong element to it or a meditation element to it, which ultimately leads to enlightenment. That's why you see all kung fu masters, they don't, you see in TV all kung fu masters do this, right or not? All kung fu masters look like yogis at the end, all like that, right or not? All the long beard, you go to a kung fu master, you see him sit on the rock just like this, long beard, yes or no? Exactly like a yogi. Martial arts leads to spiritual enlightenment, traditional martial arts. And therefore, having 40 years of traditional martial art background, that is also how I am deepening my spiritual journey as well. And also my choice of career being in the capital market. I'm sorry, most people don't understand or believe this, but the capital market is where you become very spiritual. It's where you're forced to become very spiritual if you want to be successful. I don't want to go into deeper explanation on why, unless you guys are curious. But everything you guys ask me, right, can turn into a 2 hours discussion on this phone. I better get one more coffee. Pardon? A kopi, dahabil kopi?
After?
Huh?
Yeah.
Ne?
Okay.
Americano.
Americano.
Teşekkür
Yes.
ederim. Adam Smith, my dad always says that time goes faster when you get older. Yeah. For him, the years go by like months. Yeah. For me now, years go by, yes. For me, 1 year feels like 1 month. Exactly. 1 year feels like 1 month normal feeling, yes. 10 years feels like 1 year normal feeling. Yeah. True that. It's true. Rachel, hi Limpeh. Then at how old did you become a Bible scholar? What led you to study that? Exactly my spiritual journey. Of course, I'm born into a Christian family as well. So since young we've been attending church. Yeah? So when I started to become very into this spirituality, after I left my monkhood, I went back to church with my parents, with my family. And then that's when I had a very deep discussion with my pastor. And then my pastor feel like I'm on a certain track to understanding certain truth because I shared with him some of the things I think about the Bible. And therefore, he started to sponsor me to study the Koine Bible, the Greek Bible, and the Aramaic, and the ancient Hebrew Bible. And therefore, I had to learn ancient Hebrew and all these things. All this takes money, so I was sponsored for all that. For helping out to teach Sunday school every Sunday for 2 years. Yeah, around that period, before I went to the Navy. Marvel Tan. Yes, indeed, great memory. Thanks for sharing your journey and knowledge. I'm not sharing knowledge, I'm rubbish and nonsense, okay? Guys, everything I say, pure nonsense, pure trash, okay? Everything I say is in your experience. They are all trash. They are all just a belief. In fact, I doubt you really even believe. So it's all trash. Just take this as entertainment, but take away the energy. Take away this energy and go to the world and give this energy to the next guy. And this way we make the better place. This way we make the world a better place by spreading a good energy to one person at a time. Bitterness and unhappiness is the plague in this today. If everybody can be like me with a high level energy and happy every day, this world is so peaceful. And we can do that by giving it to one person at a time around us. Alright? Give it forward. Adam Smith, I trained boxing for 3 years. Boxing is not traditional martial art. Yeah? Boxing do not have a meditation and a qigong or a kriya practice to it. Yeah? Boxing is just a sport.
Americano.
Teşekkür ederim. Arkadaşı.
Nusret. Cappuccino. Nusret.
Newton?
Nusret.
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 Anlamadım.
Nusret. Turkish. Nusret. This Nusret.
Anlamadım.
Okay.
Adam Smith, it was pretty fun. However, I quit after getting a very bad concussion. Yeah, that's what sports do to you. Sports injure you, but traditional martial arts build you. Okay, that's why these days people keep saying, oh, traditional martial art is nonsense. Traditional martial art cannot fight in MMA. Traditional martial art cannot win in UFC. Why? Yeah, because traditional martial art is not designed for fighting.
Nusret.
Oh,
Yes, Nusret.
anlamadım. Cappuccino.
Nusret. Nusret.
Oh, anlamadım.
Okay.
Shish, see you Limpeh. See you Shish. Elma, true. Time is flying by so fast. I noticed the time was speeding.
Yes.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Both fast. True. Time is flying by so fast. I noticed that time was speeding up when I was in high school. Christmas Day start arriving faster than when I was in elementary school and middle school. Yeah, and it becomes faster and faster as you grow up. Yeah. I think I have my own theory about this. Yeah, my own theory is simply this: because we measure time in relative to the amount of time that we have lived ourselves. So we are measuring time relative to our perceived lifetime. So the younger you are, the shorter time you have lived, the more percentage that, let's say you have only lived, let's say you're 20 years old. To you, 10 years is a long time. Why? Because 10 years is 50 years, 50% of your time on earth so far. And therefore you feel like it's a long time. But if you're 50 years old, then 10 years become very short. Why? Because 10 years is only what? 20% of your experience on life so far. So it becomes very short. That's my theory of how people perceive time. Okay, you see, again, I didn't read this from anywhere. I get all this from inside, from all my own feelings. I get all this universal knowledge from inside. I didn't read about psychology of time. I didn't read about theory of time. No. Yeah. Elma. Yes, it speeds up faster and faster. Yeah, and that's my theory for it. That's how I feel it works internally. I didn't read anything. Okay, I don't care what they write about, but this is how I feel. Yeah. Retro. What's the fifth dimension? The fifth dimension is exactly the same as 13th dimension. It's science, by the way. It's not. See, multiple dimensions. When you talk about multiple dimensions, you're actually talking about two different things. Most people don't even understand there are two different things when you talk about dimensions. Okay. One is the physical dimension of a physical object. What you see as a three-dimensional object, like this cup, to you, this is a three-dimensional object. Yes, but on the screen is a two-dimensional object. Yes, you realize this is just a two-dimensional object on the screen. Here, when I close my eyes and touch it as a whole, I feel a three-dimensional object. When I see, it's a two-dimensional object. Even when I see, it's two-dimensional. Yes? You understand this so far? Now, what if this cup is more than what you can see and feel? What if there are more dimensions to this cup than what is given to us in our five senses? And science is telling us this. Yes, this cup is not just two dimensions on the screen, two dimensions in eyes, three dimensions in your touch, but it is fourth dimension, fifth dimension, all the way to 13th dimension. Just that we don't have the faculties or the tools to see those dimensions. That's all. There is one think of dimension. This is the physical dimension. Okay. Second thing is this: when you talk about dimensions, we're talking about dimensions as worlds. That means completely different parallel worlds. They call that dimensions as well. That's why you see dimension again. Words. Words. I really hate words. Words mess up a lot of things. Words are so badly used in today's world. They mess up everything. Dimension. When you talk about dimensions, people literally don't even know what they are talking about. There are two dimensions. Things about dimension. One is physical dimension, which is just explained. It's completely scientific. Okay, that all objects have up to 13 dimensions, which we just cannot perceive. Okay. Now, second, which I already demonstrated how limited our perception is. Yeah. Second is we're talking about dimensions as parallel worlds. That means this earth has different layers of reality. Now that exists as well into the fourth dimension, fifth dimension, and more. Okay, and that again is postulated by science as well, not even a mystical religious thing anymore. It is what all religions have been talking about for millennia, and this is what science has been talking about since Albert Einstein. Yeah. Rachel Planet. Thank you, Limpeh. Next week would be interesting to see where you're streaming from. Yeah, I don't know where I'll be next week. You know, next week big changes are coming to my life. Oh, which means you guys have to be ready that inevitably next week, if certain things happen in a certain way, I may skip live stream for that day. Okay, so be prepared that I may have a break in my daily live stream, unfortunately, next week, if things don't turn out properly and it affects my timing, right? Because this timing is actually a very bad timing to be. Any timing is a bad timing, actually, if I have to handle all those things, yeah? DCM. Happy New Year, Options Master. Kamsia. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, DCM. Thank you for everything. Thanks for being with me all this while, DCM. No matter how I swan xiao you, you're here. Thank you. Olivia's Retro. 3 dimension equal length, height, and depth. Yep. Adam Smith. How can objects have 13 dimensions? Yep. I just demonstrated how objects have 2 and 3 dimensions, right? And in the same way, they have a 4th dimension, 5th, 6th, up to 13 dimensions. This is actually hard science. Just Google for 13 dimensions. There's a lot of papers written about this. And Adam Smith, if can't perceive all of these other dimensions, then how do we know that they exist? Yeah, science know that they exist by extension and postulation. Meaning, right now, look at the screen now. Is this a 2D or 3D image? It can only be a 2D image to you. Yes? It's 2D on the screen. But how do you know that it's 3D? How do you know that there's a 3rd dimension to this cup? How do you know? At this point of time, you, on your screen, watching this cup, there is no way you can know the 3rd dimension of this cup. Yes or no? So how do you know that the 3rd dimension of this cup even exists right now? Because you do not right now at this point have the means to touch the 3rd dimension of the cup that I have in my hand now, watching your 2-dimensional screen. So let me ask you right now, Adam Smith, how are you sure there is a 3rd dimension to this cup? How are you sure I'm not holding up a paper cardboard that is painted, 3D painted with a cup? How are you sure it's not that case? You see? So understand that in the same way you cannot perceive the 3rd dimension of this cup right here, right now, you cannot perceive the 4th, 5th, 6th dimension up to 13 dimension doesn't mean it does not exist. You simply are incapable of perception. Now, this is the whole problem with mankind, you know. Buddhism says the problem and suffering of mankind, the root of suffering is ignorance. But what Buddha never answered was this. So what is the root of ignorance? I answered this question through my own meditation. I realized the answer to this question. The root of ignorance is limited perception. Simply because we are born with these perceptions that are very limited in capabilities. And therefore, we are always seeing only one side of everything. Isn't this exactly all the problem in the world today? That everybody's seeing only one side of their own story in everything? And that is what? Isn't that ignorance? It's ignorance. And therefore, ignorance causes suffering, and limited perception causes ignorance. We are all ignorant by nature, by design, because of our limited perceptions. And therefore, we are incapable of perceiving higher dimensions simply because of that. We are not designed for that, you know? And this, again, is still very light. This is still very lightweight knowledge compared to what I say mankind are not ready to know. If this is hard to understand, what I say mankind are not ready to know will just might get me banned from the internet. Okay. So wow, very heated discussions today are very interesting. Very, you know, there's some days where we have very interesting discussions, yeah. And today's, I really want to thank Nicole for starting this very interesting discussions. Today's discussion really started from Nicole. I really thank you, Nicole, for today's very interesting and very fruitful and very informational discussion. For everybody, thanks Nicole for today. Today Nicole is the star. Nicole started this whole conversation, okay? Otherwise, I have nothing to say today, yet again. You see, Adam Smith, you and all these people always say, we are ready, tell us, no, you're not ready. As proven so many times over today's live stream, I have already encountered 2 situations in which very lightweight things become very hard to understand or very hard to accept for people. Twice, I felt it this live stream. If all this so lightweight spiritual truth is hard to fathom, no, mankind is not ready for the truth. Oh, what's happening to this camera? Okay, Olivia's retro. A good analogy for dimensions is the sea, a whole world separate from us. Yeah, that's the other dimension we're talking about. You see, like we say, when we talk about dimensions, we're talking about 2 different things. One is dimension in the term of different worlds, and one is dimension in terms of physicality. Okay, so retro, your analogy is an analogy for the dimensions in terms of multiple worlds, that different worlds exist on the same plane. Okay, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about higher physical dimensions, which are 2 different things. Again, like I said, I hate words. Words are born out of limited understanding, and therefore words cannot express the holistic truths. So sad, no? Everybody get trapped and confused by words, yeah? Even simple word like dimension is very hard to tell people that they don't even mean the same thing to everybody. There's 2 different things we're talking about when we talk about dimensions, yeah? Adam said, you don't need to know. You don't need to know. Just take your first step. What's the first step? Very simple. Don't say negative things to other people. And then go to my Story World playlist and start doing whatever I tell you to do there. May, thank you, Nicole. Rachel, thank you, Nicole. Why are you guys taking me seriously? Thank you. Namaskar. Thank you. Thank you. So those of you who are new to my live stream, this is a live stream. We're here in Istanbul. Yes, here in Istanbul, a very rainy, cold winter morning in Istanbul. I go to a different cafe or location, grab a coffee, and then we chat about life, everything about life, you know, travel experiences, spirituality, anything about life, right? And well, today is quite cold. Again, at last, it's a normal winter feeling here in Istanbul. Over the past few days, right, Istanbul has been like what, 16 degrees, 15 degrees Celsius in the morning, you know. So it doesn't feel like winter, but today, boom, at last 6 degrees Celsius in the morning, feel like winter again. And if you enjoy this live stream, do help me by liking this live stream, telling your friends about it, and subscribing and joining me every morning 10:30 Turkey time. But it's not always going to be 10:30 Turkey time because I move around. I change countries, and when I change country, I change the time. Yeah, so be prepared. Olivia's retro. I didn't know. I know I didn't say that exactly right. No, because most people don't know there's two definitions of dimensions when we talk about dimension. So you have to be very specific. You know, what exactly are you talking about when you talk about dimensions? Because there's two types of dimensions: physical dimension, the dimensions of physicality, and multiple dimensions in the way of multiple worlds. Wow, very good discussion today. I shared so much. I still feel so tired. I shared so much very deep truths, today. And of course, today I also experienced the extent to which people can understand certain things. That's why, for a lot of yogis, right? A lot of people say, certain yogis, they say, oh, this spiritual teacher is scam, that spiritual teacher is scam. Why? Because today he say this is that thing, but another day he say another way. You know why spiritual teachers change the thing they say every time? Because they need to change according to the level of the audience. If you are deeper level, then I'll tell you karma in a different way. If you are very surface level, I'll tell you karma, you should do good, you should say good things. You see? And then when you're deeper level karma, I tell you there's no such thing as good or bad karma. And then you will say, oh, yesterday he said there's no good or bad karma, but today he's telling people how to do good karma. You see? So a lot of people are confused about spiritual teachers and monks and priests in this way. And they call them scams simply because they don't understand that people have different levels of understanding, and therefore the same thing we are forced to explain it a different way in different occasions. Yeah. Adam Smith, I was thinking about what you said about death the other day a lot. About what about? What are you thinking about? Oh, I need to cut this here a little bit, make it straight. I just cut here yesterday. You see, you saw jagged. I need to cut here a little bit. Adam Smith, like how people would choose to end their life is that people usually choose the relief of death rather than the struggle of life when it comes to the life and death moments. Of course, when you're not in the life and death moments, you always choose life, of course, because life is comfortable. Yeah. When life is comfortable, you always choose life. But at those life and death moments, you always feel it very strongly that the moment is there. When you hit that moment, unfortunately, a lot of people, not unfortunately, actually fortunately, a lot of people will choose that. The relief of death. In 7 years in the Navy, I've seen a lot of dead people, including my own friends. Okay? And there's one case, I cannot talk about the specifics because it's classified. But I can only say this. When I saw, how can I share this story without giving away classified information? Okay, there was a certain helicopter pilot that crashed into the sea. And then I was tasked to recover his body from deep in the sea. It was hard to find, by the way. And then when I found the body, like this is the bottom of the sea, the helicopter is here. I expected to find the body in the cockpit. Why? Because if you are not in the cockpit, then you have escaped the cockpit successfully. You should have swam to the surface. You should have survived. But I expected to see the guy in the cockpit. Okay. But when I found the guy, he was actually lying on the seabed, quite a distance away from the helicopter, lying there peacefully, looking upwards like this. He was looking upwards like this on the seabed. This means he was on the way up, and then he gave up. When you give up life and choose death in a drowning situation, that's when you drown with face up. Why? Because you will orientate yourself in a way as to look at the surface. This is how all people would, at the life and death moment of drowning, at that point you can choose, you can choose not to die. You can still keep going on, because our human body has an immense capacity of taking the shock from water. You can take a lot more than you think. But at the moment of giving up, what most people do is they will orientate their body and look at the surface and see the surface go further and further away as they sink down. And so when they drown and die, they will die on the seabed, face up peacefully like this. That's the kind of case we know that this guy could have survived, but he chose death. Adam Smith, like I said, because you have not experienced a life and death moment, so you cannot phantom. See, that's why you say we're ready to know. You're not ready to know. You cannot even understand and phantom that it can be a point where people choose death rather than life. It's a very simple thing, by the way. A lot of people have experienced this, not even a spiritual thing. If you're a racer, if you play extreme sports, especially if you play motocross, extreme moto, or you play cliff hanging, freestyle, free rock climbing, that kind of thing, you will experience it. Or you play sea swimming, you 100% you will have experienced that point of choice. Yeah. Jared, because there is steam coming out of the top. What's steam coming out of the top of what? Sorry, I'm not too sure what you're talking about. You mean this? So I just shared a very rare story that I've never shared before, and nobody has any reaction to it. Adam Smith, he's talking about how he knows that the cup is three-dimensional, I think. Oh, even if there's steam, if there's steam coming out, you don't know it's three-dimensional, I'm sorry. If this could be a plastic, this could be a cardboard where behind I put some dry ice. How you know? How you know? This could be completely flat. How you know? You will never know. It's all in your imagination. You assume you can know. And this imagination is exactly how you're so used to this so-called 3D world. Do you know that when you look outside, you think you see 3D? No, in your eyes, you're seeing a two-dimensional world. You are incapable of seeing three-dimensional. That is the limitation of human sight, and you don't even know that, right? You don't even realize that, right? That right now you look outside, everything is two-dimensional to you. You are not seeing a three-dimensional world, and this is the whole basis how the Optical Illusion Museum works. Have you been to the Optical Illusion Museum? That's exactly how it works. It plays on the eye's incapability of perceiving 3D. It's placed on your mind. Your mind's illusion of lying to itself that what you see is 3D. Yes, your mind is lying to yourself. When you see something is 2D, but your mind is telling you it's 3D. And that's how optical illusions work. It's not even spiritual thing, it's not even mystical thing. This is hard, simple science, And already people don't even understand this. Already people don't understand how limited your eyes are and depend everything on I see this, I see that. Adam Smith, true. True what? Kim Teo, no need those extreme sports situation to experience life and death. Sometimes my work requires to work almost 24/7, and there's moments it's easier to be dead than continue working. Oh yeah. Even those moments already you want to choose death, isn't it? Now imagine in a real life and death situation, how more easily people choose death. Yeah. When you're drowning like that, how more easily you choose the relief of death? Why struggle to the surface when you can just go away? Adam Smith, do you think reality is an illusion? No, you don't have to think reality is an illusion. To you, reality can only be an illusion. There is no other way. Until you realize the 看山是山，看山不是山，再看山是山 that I explained earlier on in today's live stream. I think before you came on. Until you realize the state of spiritual awareness, which I call true seeing. Until you achieve the state of true seeing, reality can only be an illusion. To you and to 99.99% of people, you are all living in an illusion. I'm telling you this as a hard science. As a hard science. Even Elon Musk will tell you the same thing. He said, there is a 1 in a billion chance that people are living in base reality. Even he thinks so. Okay? Only a 1 in a billion chance. Why? Because only 1 in a billion people ever reach true sight. The true sight and true awareness that allows you the true perception of reality. Most people have not attained that. Even for those who have attained a certain level, they touch that dimension of true sight only sporadically, not a continuous thing, you know. Even me, I touch true sight sporadically. I am incapable of maintaining true sight as a base default way of my life. I'm incapable of doing that. I'm only achieving true sight consciously from time to time when I choose to. It's not a continuous existential state for me either. It requires a very high level attainment. What do you think about car wash business? Oh, when I started from a car wash business, so retro, yes, Adam. Well, very interesting discussion. So let's check the battery. Okay, almost running out of battery. Well, I think see, look. So, I'm really almost running out of battery, and it's almost 2 hours, okay? So, remind me of those things you want to discuss about that we could not discuss about today. Let's try to talk about those things tomorrow, okay? We end here today. Thank you guys so much, especially thanks Nicole for starting this whole conversation. Thanks Adam Smith, my young friend, for his curiosity and for his trying to understand, which sparks me having to explain deeper for the benefit of everybody else who are curious but not asking. Thanks to Kim Peel for always seeking to clarify. Kim Peel is always trying to clarify things that I say in relative to her own experience. I fully appreciate and respect that you're seeing from your own perspective. Retro, who has definitely reached a certain level of awareness about life, and therefore being able to maybe understand a little bit deeper about what I say. And in fact, Olivia's retro here, she gave the new name of my live stream. You guys realize that my live stream has changed from Limpeh morning coffee chat in Istanbul to Limpeh live chat in Istanbul. Okay, this idea came from Olivia's retro, by the way. So she says that she gave the suggestion that I should change the name and the branding so that to live chat or live, so that people know that we're talking about live here, and rather than morning coffee in Istanbul sounds like a travel show. Yeah. So thanks retro for that as well. And everybody else who comes on, always supporting my channel. Thank you guys so much. I'll be going through some really tough times next week. So do understand that probably I find it very hard to do a new video, or even sometimes I might even skip live stream for a day or two next week, depending on how things work out next week. So let's see how. If I can do it, I'll do it. If I can't do it, then too bad, you know. Okay? And for all of you, say hey pok mani 받으세요. This is Happy New Year in Korean language, which means have a lot of good luck in the new year. Say hey, New Year, pok good luck, mani 받으세요, please have many. So it means say hey pok mani 받으세요, please have a lot of good luck in the new year. 안녕.